Imagine your colon as a peaceful neighborhood where all the residents, from the hardworking cells that line the gut wall to the helpful microbes that keep things clean, cooperate to keep the community running smoothly. Then comes the sugar rush, not as a polite visitor, but as a noisy crowd of gatecrashers flooding in without an invitation. The New Nature Metabolism study shows that when fructose and glucose arrive together, like they do in sugary drinks, they don't just create chaos for a moment. They actually give cancer cells the tools to turn the neighborhood upside down. Rather than leaving quickly like any polite guest, these sugars stick around and help cancer cells grow, divide, and, worst of all, move out and spread the trouble elsewhere in the body. What's so fascinating about this research is that it uncovers exactly how sugar helps cancer misbehave. The scientists focused on an enzyme called SORD, which acts like a kind of biochemical amplifier. When both glucose and fructose are present, SORD converts them into forms that cancer cells can easily use for energy and for building the materials they need to multiply. This isn't just a short burst of energy, it's a metabolic toolkit that fuels a much bigger problem: metastasis. Suddenly, cancer cells are no longer just troublemakers in one corner of the colon. They're ready to break through the neighborhood fence, sneak into the bloodstream, and set up camp in distant organs. And yet, there's an optimistic angle to this story that's just as important. The fact that scientists have pinpointed this sugar SORD pathway means we finally have a clear target to aim at. Instead of fighting cancer with a one-size-fits-all approach, researchers could develop therapies that specifically block this sugar-powered growth cycle. Imagine a treatment that cuts off the fuel line only to cancer cells, leaving normal colon cells free to do their work. That's where this research could lead: a smarter, more precise way to slow cancer down and stop it from spreading. This discovery also makes a very practical case for lifestyle changes that don't have to feel like punishment. Reducing sugary drink intake becomes more than just a way to cut calories. It becomes an act of cellular housekeeping. You're essentially locking the neighborhood gate, keeping those unwanted party crashers from supplying cancer cells with the means to cause havoc. And the good news is that you don't have to be perfect. Even small reductions in sugary drink consumption could reduce the intensity of this sugar rush and give your colon cells a calmer environment where they can thrive. In a way, this study reframes sugar as more than just a dietary indulgence. It reminds us that what we drink can set the tone for the microscopic world inside us. By keeping that world balanced, we give ourselves a much better chance at long-term health and resilience. The nightmare scenario of cancer cells running wild becomes far less likely when we stop giving them the perfect fuel mix to do so. This is the kind of research that turns fear into action, not just for scientists who can now develop better therapies, but for anyone who wants to make choices today that could protect their health for years to come.